to BBC News. Today we will be discussing Cuba's new political openness. The United States and Cuba have had conflicts ever since the 1960s, when Fidel Castro turned Cuba into a communist state. Tension increased during the Cold War, with events such as the Bay of Pigs, the Cuban Missile Crisis, and eventually the United States placing a trade embargo and ending all relations. Now, in the light of recent events, seems that the conflict has undergone a turn of events, as the two states reopened embassies in each other's capitals. But first, let's take a quick look on the historical tensions between Cuba and the United States. Now we're going with Lucia Cantu-Miller, who will tell us more about this event.
During the Second World War, Batista won the Cuban election. Cuba was ruled by a democratic government where respect for human rights had accelerated prosperity. Yet, political corruption and violence had increased. In 1959, Fidel Castro, a charismatic anti-US revolutionary, came into power, putting an end to Batista's US-backed government. When Fidel Castro came into power, he began converting Cuba into a one-party communist system. USA disagreed with Fidel Castro's decision and imposed an embargo on October 19 of 1960 and broke all democratic relations on January 3 of 1961. Tension between the two governments increased during the Cold War in the Cuban Missile Crisis. This happened when the United States revealed the presence of Soviet missiles in Cuba. In 1996, the United States passed the Helms-Burton Law, having tougher rules for dealing with Cuba.
Recently, the Cuban-American conflict has seen a turn of events. But why is it we have now faced this turn of events?
Back in 2008, Fidel Castro resigned his place as president due to health reasons, and his brother, Raúl Castro, came into power. Since then, Raúl Castro has paved the way to improve Cuba's relations with the United States. In 2013, Cuba and the US started a secret negotiation on restoring relations. This led to a historic announcement on December 17 of 2014, where President Castro and President Obama said they had swapped prisoners and would seek to normalize relations. On Monday, July 20 of 2015, Cuba and the United States re-established diplomatic ties for the first time since 1959, when they reopened embassies in each other's capitals. Past October, the United States voted against the UN resolution criticizing the US economic embargo against Cuba. Only Israel joined the US in opposing the resolution, with 191 voting for it. The resolution demanded an end to the embargo, and it also calls on the UN members to refrain from interfering in other countries' internal affairs, as well as freedom on international trade and navigation. This resolution has been done each year for 23 years.
We had the opportunity to interview the US delegate Ronaldo Godard about his thoughts on the resolution against the Cuban embargo, and this is the answer we obtained.
We are here with Ronaldo Godard, the US delegate. Ronaldo, what does the United States think about the resolution against the Cuban embargo?
We find it unfortunate that despite our bilateral progress, Cuba introduced a resolution nearly identical to those in years past.
Why does the US consider there has been progress?
Last December, we decided to restore diplomatic ties. Meantime, we have eased restrictions on travels and trade to Cuba. Plus, in August, both countries have reopened embassies.
Up to today, there has been attempts at lifting the embargo implemented on Cuba. However, it hasn't been successful, and it seems it won't be lifted anytime soon. Nevertheless, there has been some improvements in the relation between the United States and Cuba. Have a great night.